back as Beyond with another video. And have you ever had a video game addiction? You know, have you ever called in sick or some other thing and go cough cough, I got the game addiction disease? Well, video game addiction is officially considered a mental disorder by the World Health Organization. And it's an article by Mike Snyder from May 28th, 2019. And he starts the article off pretty cliche as all hell, though. But think your kid is addicted to video games? There could be something to it. The World Health Organization made video game addiction an official mental disorder. The Geneva headquartered organization added gaming disorder to the International Statistical Classification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, or ICD-11, which goes into effect in January 2022. The condition is included in the Global Medical Guide within a section detailing disorders due to substance use or addictive behaviors, along with the gambling disorder. The ICD-11 describes gaming disorder as recurrent video game playing that leads to impaired control over gaming and an increased priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over life interests and daily activities, despite the occurrence of negative consequences. Health officials and video game industry representatives from across the globe decried the WHO's move. There still is not enough research to warrant the classification of a gaming disorder, wrote an international team of more than 36 mental health researchers in a paper published in the Journal of Behavioral Addictions last year.
Yeah, you wish.
3 months before the WHO announced its plans to include gaming disorder into the guide. Risk of abuse of a formalized new disorder that solely involves the behavior of playing video games, a stigmatized entertainment activity, can only expand the false positive issues in psychiatry, the researchers wrote. One of the researchers, Chris Ferguson, a psychologist and media researcher at Stinson University in DeLand, Florida, resurfaced the paper on Twitter after the organization's actions. This expansion will likely have a psychological and societal cost, potentially harming the well-being of our children. The American Psychiatric Association said there is not significant evidence to consider gaming addiction as a unique mental disorder. Citing similar concerns, video game groups, including the ESA and the UK Interactive Association, asked the WHO to rethink their decision. The WHO is an esteemed organization, and its guidance needs to be based on regular, inclusive, and transparent reviews backed by independent experts.
Dang it.
Gaming disorder is not based on sufficiently robust evidence to justify its inclusion in one of the WHO's most important norm-setting tools. There has been research documenting cases of people playing video games for up to 20 hours a day to the detriment of their activities, including work, sleep, and eating.
Dad?
There's an expert on mental health and substance abuse for the WHO named Masheka Saxahana. She told Reuters this. A small minority of gamers may develop the problem, but the disorder's classification can lead to early warning signs that prevent addiction, he said. This is an occasional or transitory behavior, noting that people must exhibit the behavior for at least 1 year to meet the diagnosis. So I was going to ask you for a second here. Do you consider yourself addicted to games of any form? And does it feel like maybe, I don't know, using this device or something like that would, I don't know, be just as the equivalent? It's kind of strange how
What is going on?
a different kind of technology that most people aren't common playing on or accustomed to has to have some disorder to it. What if I don't know, like drawing, you know? I take down a sketch like that too. It was part of my money and part of my hobby time to actually just start drawing. Maybe I just draw for a lot. Well, but that's considered an artist though, right? I guess that's considered an artist maybe. It's not an addict. It's not a pencil writing addict. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're like to play music. Are you a music addict? Because you spend a whole ton of time actually running over the same chords over and over and over again just to freaking find a step where you could
Are you
take
okay?
your pen addiction of writing songs too on top of that. Would that be considered a disorder?
No, who would come in here?
Don't go
There's
near the doors. Just
other things that are
stand back there.
you know you could consider a disorder,
Dad, you're kind of
but
freaking me out.
it's all in your
What's
head
going
about
on?
how you approach these kind of things, and
Something wrong
the
with
Who's thing is kind of like a
What kind of
broad
sick?
like blanket thing across or just a blanket term for any person that decides to, I don't know, use one of these platforms to enjoy or spend other time on or stuff like that too. Keep making the assumption that games are for children, but yet they've published stuff, I don't know, I think it's about 3 years ago, claiming that the average age of a gamer is 37 years old, and they keeps a lot of the non-gaming public likes to think of it like it's 1992 already. And the last time I checked, 1992 was a long time ago. So they go, oh, it's got to be related to the kids. No, it's not. Only about 15% of gamers under the age of 18 play video games still. At least on this kind of platform, like a PlayStation or whatever. Most of them like to play them on a phone or something like that, or play Fortnite or something like that. But Fortnite's available on every single platform you could think of outside of a refrigerator.
How you holding up, honey?
But
I'm fine.
having this labeled as a disorder is very kind of premature. Just like I brought up in what they brought up in the article when I was quoting from it is like,
Yeah, we're doing great.
let's just find some way to scapegoat another piece of entertainment. Would you be considered a nerd and unsociable back in the 80s or 70s reading comic books just to yourself, you know? It's a way of escape, but is that a disorder of being antisocial or something like that?
Probably a lot.
I can find it like that. It's just dumb.
Tommy's.
And
Right.
also, you know, it's just the sad part is, though, a lot of people that are fans of gaming and stuff like that, though, too, or just playing any games in general,
They got no clue.
still have a slight stigma from the remainder of the world. Just because there's like 100 billion PlayStations in the wild doesn't mean that that's every person that's out there.
Holy hell.
And a lot of the
That's
people
Lewis's
that are,
fault.
I'd say maybe over 50, I guess,
Some bitch made it
still have
up.
the stigma related to games as a child's thing, but yet they could spend freaking 30 hours binge watching some TV show on Netflix. Like
He said it's just, people.
it's not passive. No, actually it is passive.
That's right.
You can't interact with it. What are you gonna do? You're just sitting there wasting your time doing that. You can see that shit about books. You can binge read a bunch of books. It's fiction. It's the way they explore things to get out of the real world around you in some form.
Keep driving, Tommy.
But it's not necessarily an addiction. It's only addictive to people that have gambling style personalities, ones that take tons of risk and want to fucking throw everything to the wind, or want to have a whole bunch of things, period. There's those gamers that are called whales, or people that some of these games are designed with microtransactions built into them, so they could manipulate what the person wants to purchase or achieve in a game by artificially padding a difficulty and then making it so you have to pay to get everything in it. And then you do it with cosmetics too. When you do it with cosmetics, you're paying for things that no one else has. So guess where you get all the money from?
Did you see that? Yeah. Sorry.
It's kind of sad that we have to come to stuff like this. It's kind of sad you actually have to explain a passion for just chilling and BSing with friends on a gaming platform of your choice, or just playing games in general
I can't fucking drive
like that.
through.
So
Back up, man.
it's
They're behind me,
I
too.
don't see you
There,
for
Dave,
like
hold on.
2 hours a day. The article said like 20 like what was it 20 hours a day. That's obsessive, but at the same time though, a person could spend 20 hours watching freaking CNN for all we know, like for hours on end,
Daddy?
and you're not doing anything then, are you?
Hey!
And another thing is, though, the stigma goes back to kids again. Even the article starts off with like your kids playing it. There's a stigma saying that only video games are for children. Like 85% of the games out there are close to the M for mature rating. They have a box art that's got a little M on there that says 17 or older. Last time I checked, all that stuff is freaking every person that's older is an adult. 18 is adult? Last time I checked, right? And that's also kind of strange though that a lot of the gamers out there have kids and stuff of their own and stuff too, so
Give me your hand.
it's just really, really, really
What is it?
hard to get past someone, you know, with all their things.
It's bad.
We're gonna need to run.
With E3 around the corner, I hope there's good things going on for the gaming world, because
Daddy, I'm scared.
this kind of stigma is just really, really dumb when it comes to
no.
disorders.
Watch out! Keep your eyes closed, honey.
Google has their Stadia stuff popping up. Sony and Microsoft have a partnership through their little server venture, and it's designed mostly to push more streaming towards devices of all
Don't look,
forms.
Sarah.
It looks promising. I still would like options. Having a local platform and a streaming one is fine by me. I'm not anti-streaming or anything though, as long as you have the infrastructure to do it. Also, those crazy wacky fools at Activision decided to name the next Call of Duty game Modern Warfare for some reason. I thought there was already one of those already. Last time I checked, there was one of them. I played a few years back. I don't know, that was it 12 years ago, somewhere in there. Those guys are just bizarre as all hell, man. It's just crazy. But also, Death Stranding content was dropped. At least the trailer was. Kojima's just a little off his rocker for my taste. I tried to get into Metal Gear Solid 5. It plays well. The story just never meshed with me. After Metal Gear Solid 2, I just stopped caring. And also, Metal Gear has always seemed to be a PlayStation exclusive when I wasn't really gaming in the PlayStation ecosystem. I still game on Xbox, but with Sony not being around for E3 though this year, it seems like to give them some breathing room with the next gen, and also simultaneously give Microsoft an edge to actually push some games that they want to showcase. So it's a win-win for both of them. It's kind of baffling that Sony did leave and didn't want to do a showing, but given enough air in between the end of this generation and the next is going to be pretty awesome to see. Well, there really isn't much going on this week. You could follow this channel if you want. I make content sparingly though, but I do at least hope you at least like listening to me talk, I guess, for some things. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Flawed Excuses.
Daddy, what about Uncle Tom?
My Beyond Broken 78 tag is for PlayStation, that's my PSN ID, and Beyond Wisdom is my Xbox Live account. Get at me as a friend on both of them. I double dip on games on both platforms, so I have multi-plats on both. I have exclusives on both. Just really hope that gaming freaking gets knocked off this list of diseases, because playing cards could be a disease if you wanted it to be. But enough of me ranting. Can watch you play out the rest of this clip, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Listen to me. I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right. I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby. I know it hurts. Come on, baby. Please. I know, baby. I know. Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on.